my God. Look at that, just shooting back and forth. That is crazy. Look at this.
A massacre too heartbreaking for words.
Today marks the most deadly shooting in American history.
Hundreds ambushed inside an Orlando nightclub.
Next thing you know, we hear popping sound.
At least 50 killed and more wounded.
They say that they don't know where he was at, and they lost him.
Tonight, the confusion for anxious families, the stories of survival, and the search to answer why.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jameson Euler.
And I'm Wendy Ryan. Thanks for joining us. Americans around the country still trying to come to grips with what's now being called the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. Orlando police just releasing a few of the shooting victims' names, one of them from the Bay Area. Edward Sotomayor Jr. was from Sarasota. And we're still working to find out the hometowns of Stanley Almodovar, Luis Omar Ocasio Capo, Juan Ramon Guerrero, Eric Ivan Ortiz Rivera, and Peter Gonzalez Cruz. We will keep you updated as police release more names on air and on our ABC Action News apps.
ABC News now confirming the suspected shooter, Omar Mateen, called 911 after the shooting started, pledging his allegiance to ISIS. The hail of bullets starting inside the Pulse nightclub in Orlando just after 2 a.m. this morning. At this moment, at least 50 people are confirmed dead, another 50 more injured.
We have multiple crews across the state covering every angle of this story right now, from the investigation to the stories from survivors and the emotional reaction from all. But we want to begin tonight with our Laura Harris anchoring our coverage live from Orlando. Laura.
Wendy Jameson, it's something that I can't even really put into words for you. We're on one of those block streets right now. This is Orange Avenue and Grant Street. Behind my camera guy and some of our producers right now, you just see people standing there waiting, trying to get a little bit more information. Right over my shoulder, though, just about 4 blocks down the road on the left side of the street is where that nightclub is. You see the sheriff's office, you see the FBI, all kinds of emergency personnel set up out there just trying to figure out exactly what happened inside of this nightclub last night. I want to show you some video that we shot a little bit earlier today, though. This video showing so many people deciding to go out and make these memorials in different places in Orlando. One of them, people actually painting their hands and putting them down on this sheet because they said they just wanted to. Many of them didn't even know anyone who was inside of that club. We've even seen signs, makeshift signs, put on light poles, people just trying to show their solidarity here in this community. All of this so hard to understand, but you talk about heartbreak. How about those families who are still waiting to figure out if their family members and friends are okay, waiting to see if they're accounted for? We actually spoke to one mother today that says she's been waiting since 4 o'clock this morning to hear from her son.
Anything, I've been here since 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been waiting. Waiting by the emergency room to see if anybody gets called in. Well, they said there's a lot of dead bodies at the club. That's a crime scene. They can't identify anybody. So it could be hours and hours before we find out.
Facebook even activating their safety check earlier today. That's basically where you can log onto Facebook if you're in the Orlando area or anywhere around it and tell your friends that you are okay. Some of my friends even checking in on that earlier today to let us know that they were doing all right. All of this reportedly at the hands of this 29-year-old. That's according to the FBI. My colleague Lauren Rosella is here on the ground in Orlando right now with more on that man. Lauren?
Absolutely, Laura. Yes, this is still considered an active crime scene here at Pulse. The FBI says that they are still removing the victims' bodies from inside the club. Now, this is a picture of our suspect, Omar Mateen, born in New York, an American citizen. Right now, they are in St. Lucie County, where they believe that he is interviewing anyone who may have known him or his plans. Now, we have learned that Mateen has been investigated twice by the FBI, once in 2013 after making inflammatory comments to co-workers alleging possible terrorist ties, and again in 2014 for possible ties to a suicide bomber.
The FBI thoroughly investigated the matter, including interviews of witnesses, physical surveillance, and records checks. In the course of the investigation, Mateen was interviewed twice. Ultimately, we were unable to verify the substance of his comments, and the investigation was closed.
And now the question everyone is asking today, how was he allowed to get handguns? We have learned that just within the last week, he was able to legally purchase those handguns used in this mass shooting. The FBI says that Mateen was no longer under investigation when this happened. Now back out here live outside Pulse nightclub over just at the command center. This is an active crime scene. They are still removing the victims' bodies from inside the club, and we do know that they are saying they're trying to be respectful as they continue this investigation, and they are working to alert the families of these victims as soon as possible. Laura, back to you.
Lauren, thank you. And you have to wonder, so many people out here wondering, how in the world was he able to get inside that nightclub with these weapons? Well, we spoke with someone just today who tells us he goes to that nightclub every Saturday night. There are no checks. They don't do any pat-downs. There are no metal detectors. It's one of those things where everybody knows everybody, so they just let them in. They treat everyone like family. So apparently that's how he was able to get in last night. Some 300 people were inside of that nightclub when all of this happened. And again, many of them still unaccounted for.